So, good morning, everyone. My name's Shazia Khan, and today is the final session for assignment discussion. But as we discussed in the last session, I'll give you an overview of the three learning outcomes before I go into the assignment summary. So you've got an idea, and I think all of you decided that you wanted me to go through the three learning outcomes quickly before we go into the assignment session. So the first learning outcome that we did was learning outcome 1, which was to understand the different types of prejudice, stereotyping and oppression. And we looked at the grading of the unit. So firstly, that you need to understand the subject, application of knowledge, use of information, and communication and presentation and quality. We then went on to identify what is equality, and to record this meeting locally, didn't I? Equality refers to providing equal opportunities. So, you know, that we don't treat anyone differently to anyone else, okay? So why is it so important in the health and social care profession that we treat everyone with equal opportunities? Why do you think it's so important with the health and care profession? Anyone?
The question again.
Why do you think it's so important that we treat everyone with equal opportunities?
I think it's so important because it helps everyone to be treated equally.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be discriminating in any sort of area, be it health and social care, be it business. We shouldn't discriminate against anyone.
Yeah.
We then went to look at what diversity was, and we looked at the issue of differences in everyone's, you know, that everyone is different, and, you know, people have different environments, and, you know, people have different differences in understanding, things like that. So we looked at diversity. We then went on to equality and diversity within the health and social care profession, and why it's so important treating people equal and, you know, diverse. So equality in the health and social care profession is, we gave the example of you may need to give information in different formats, for example, Braille, and also to make sure they've got access to a building, anyone who's disabled, anyone who has a wheelchair. And then we looked at what diversity was, and we looked at examples of things can make up diversity at age, appearance, disability, the job role. So we looked at things like that in regards to the person's character and why that's so important within the health and social care profession. Why shouldn't we? Does everyone have a different religious belief?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people believe, you know, in God. Some people don't. Some people, you know, have their own beliefs in how the Muslims, Judaism, you know, you've got different beliefs, Christianity. So some people may not believe in anything, and we need to respect that. Okay, so there may be people that have no belief in God, atheist. So we need to respect their views and their diversities. Inclusion, and that is being included in either a group of society as a whole. Inclusion links in with diversity and equality. It's important to understand someone's differences so you can include them and treat them equally and fairly. What if someone is treated unfairly because, you know, they don't fit into your diverse and, you know, into your culture kind of setting? Are you discriminating against that person?
Yes, please.
You are discriminating, aren't you? So you need to make sure that, you know, everyone is treated equally. Equally is the biggest element of it. Okay, is anyone struggling to join? I think someone's just said to me someone's struggling to join. No?
I think Suleiman, he just said it in the group chat.
Or is it not? Did the host could not accept my joining? Oh, no. Could you accept my joining? I didn't get anything to accept it. I think I just got something to get someone to do a recording, but that was just press the link above. Oh, that's Hugh Mevish, yeah. He needs, yeah. Okay, so inclusivity and diversity within the healthcare profession and within, you know, healthcare workers as well. You know, they need to be really important to make sure that they identify that they are treating people equally and inclusively, isn't accepting. I think, has he not been on the link above? Don't know what's going on, but that is, did everyone use that link that I sent?
Yes, please.
Yes, that's why I
Yes.
used.
Yeah, that's what I used. That's what everyone's used. Let's just send it again. Maybe it works. So everyone in the health and social care must make sure that they treat everyone inclusively, but also make sure that they treat everyone with equality. Equality Act and this introduction developed to assist promoting dignity. Was there a need for this act to be, you know, implemented in 2010? Why do you think laws are implemented?
They are implemented to promote dignity,
Yeah.
to stop discrimination. Yeah.
Yes.
And for everyone to be treated fairly.
Yes, but
Not
so
discrimination.
can you tell me if not just discrimination? Suleimania, are you on now?
And bullies as
Yes,
well, to
teacher.
stop bullying.
Okay.
It's done.
Okay, so in the UK, when a law is introduced, it's not a law, it's a bill first, okay? But why is it introduced? Why do you think a law is introduced?
To enforce it to work.
Yeah, to enforce it to work, but why? I'm asking you why something comes in place. Why does it come? Why is there need for it?
There's
Yes,
need for it,
yes.
so that
There's
everyone
a
will be
need for the
treated
law to
equally.
come in place. When a law is proposed and a bill is introduced to the House of Commons and House of Lords, there's a need for it. Okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean there's more cases of discrimination?
Yes, which means
Yes.
there's been more cases of discriminating and
more
there's
changes
more
need to be brought in.
cases of bullies.
Yeah, so more changes need to be brought in. So because more changes need to be brought in, because we have an unwritten constitution in the UK, we are able to, you know, pass new laws, okay? And that's only at times of, you know, need, if there is something that needs to be changed or amended. Things like, you know, in COVID time, we had to introduce laws quite quick to get things done, you know, to put rules and procedures in place. And that's when, you know, when an emergency happens, we need to put things through quite quick. But in this instance, you know, things change. People, you know, the Equality Act protects anyone who's, you know, receiving care and the workers that provide unfair treatment as well. So, you know, there was a need for it because the society is changing and there were new areas of inequality for a number of years and cases were going to tribunals. So a new law needed to be introduced. So laws are introduced because there's a need for them. The protected characteristics under the 2010 Act are things like age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage, civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion, sex, and sexual orientation. Direct discrimination occurs when someone is treated less favourably than someone else in similar circumstances on grounds of a protected discrimination. Okay. And then you've got indirect discrimination, and that occurs where a requirement is applied equally to everyone, but some are unable to comply because of protected characteristic. That could be someone who's, you know, disabled, you know, that they can't apply indirect discrimination. Okay. And direct discrimination, it could be to do with employees and employers. Then we looked at discrimination, and that is often based on a person's negative attitude towards others. The following can all lead to labeling, stereotyping, and prejudice. And when you label someone, what are you doing? When you label someone, what are you trying to do?
It's like giving the person name.
Okay, giving the person what in a bad way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the party.
Yeah.
In,
So you are trying to label someone and give them something in a bad way, okay? And that is trying to identify that, you know, they may not be good at a job, or, you know, it's negative attitudes towards an individual. So we've got labeling. This gives a group of people a name because of characteristics. For example, goth. So that means you know, we're labeling people because of how they look. Should we be doing that?
No, we should not be doing
No.
that.
But we do that, don't we? We do that.
Yes, sometimes
label
yeah,
people.
people do
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
We do that. We are
What happened?
stereotypical of women as well, and a lot of, it's not just men are stereotypical of women, that women can't drive. Sometimes it's true, but not all the time, men. And stereotypical, we have this opinion of people belonging to a certain group, and we shouldn't be stereotyping, and we shouldn't be prejudiced against anyone. We then went on and looked at being prejudiced, and that's an assumption or opinion about someone based on their person's membership to a particular group. Can anyone give me an idea or an example of what prejudice is? If you're looking at having an opinion on a group of people, what kind of, give me an example of where, you know, we are referring to a group of people.
A group of people, it can be like religion.
Yeah. Or from a country as well, can't we?
Yes,
We're quite
yeah.
prejudiced towards people from different countries, and what we'll say, this perception is having this opinion that everyone. An example I'll give you is quite a shocking example, but people do have this perception that all Muslims are terrorists. It's an opinion
Yeah.
they've got based on, you know, the issue of 9/11 and things like that, and all the laws to do with terrorism and stuff. They have this perception, an opinion that all Muslims are terrorists. And that's quite a bad perception to have of someone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, this is the thing that they have. And also having an opinion about, I'll give you another example. And it's all African women are loud and strongly, you know, strong. But that's not always the right opinion to have, is it?
Yeah.
Or all men, an opinion to have is based on a person's membership. All men can't cook, you know, that's an opinion you've got.
Can I ask, social status, can it be a
Sorry, what's that?
social class?
Yeah.
Can it
Yes,
fall on
yeah.
Okay.
That could be, you know, the fact that all people from this part of the world are, you know, poor, you know, so it's that social class. Yeah, we identify the social group. What is stereotyping? And that's having a judgment about an individual that's influenced by their mental state. So elderly people are bad tippers, Asian people are good at maths, women like to talk a lot, gay men are flamboyant. So this is having an opinion, a stereotyping in your head. Oppression, again, is the act of placing severe restrictions on an example, group, or institution. And also examples of systems of oppression are sexism, ableism, ageism, and anti-Semitism. Then we've got the social psychology, the ABC, which is affect, which is prejudice and in-group favoritism, behavior, discrimination, and cognition stereotyping. I'll go through that. Example one was a community group organizes a village hall that does not have access that is suitable for individuals who have wheelchair users. Describe means to create a picture with words, but not simply writing a list of bullet points. So this is a sign that identifies that, you know, there's no access for wheelchair users. Okay, so that was learning outcome 1. Let's go through to learning outcome 2. Just 1 minute. Oh. Right. Any questions on learning outcome 1?
No.
Okay, so let's move on to learning outcome 2. Can you all see that? Equality, opportunity, and diversity. So we went then from learning outcome 1, we went on to looking at learning outcome 2, which is no explanations of the origins of prejudice, stereotyping, and oppression. We looked at the key terminology, what prejudice is, having a negative attitude towards individuals or a group of people, for example, you know, towards gender or race. Do we all have this prejudice in our mind?
Yeah,
Do you think we
sometimes.
can all be prejudiced at times?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
Yes, sometimes.
yeah, I think we can, you know, we have negative thoughts towards a group of people, the sex, the race, social class, you know, and we have these attitudes, all of us in some way possible. Difference between prejudice and discrimination. A prejudiced person may not act on their attitude, therefore someone can be prejudiced towards a certain group but not discriminate against them. Then we have examples of discrimination, and we've got racial discrimination, aged with some examples on apartheid, World War II, and then we've got age discrimination, person's age, you know, we discriminate on that. Gender discrimination, which is against women, or women are paid less favorably for doing the same job as men, you know, so that's a big thing, you know, that people are discriminated against, you know, their family home. What types of prejudice are there? So prejudice can exist wherever there's a kind of difference between people. Prejudice is based on gender sexism. Prejudice based on national grouping of people. It's possible to be racism between people of the same colour. Why is it possible to be racist between people of the same colour?
Because some people think they are better than any other person, so they end up discriminating even though they have the same color.
Yeah. Do you think it's social class?
Yes, it falls under social class.
It's all to do with social class, isn't it? Sometimes people can say, I am better than you, because you know, I might be from a different part of the country which is more richer. Yeah, it happens. It happens. I will say this, it happens quite a lot within the Asian community, within the Muslim community, where they have this prejudice against, you know, like caste system. They have a caste system, and the people are prejudiced against caste systems as well. People can be prejudiced against, you know, your age, and other prejudice. Social class is a big one, like we spoke about. If you're from a certain part of the country, you may be regarded as lower class, and if you're from a different part of the country, you may be regarded as higher class. You know, and any sort of prejudice towards Muslims and having this misconception, or towards Jew anti-Semitism, you know, so there are, you know, prejudice within ourselves. 2.1, we looked at evaluate explanations and origins of prejudice, stereotyping and oppression, and we looked at the prejudice is often based on ignorance. The solution is to educate people, but many people choose to remain ignorant as their prejudice can make them feel superior. And I've seen that, you know, within the workplace. I think people choose to ignore it. I don't know if any of you have realized that, you know, it's sometimes good to educate people, but even when they've been educated, they still remain to ignore their prejudice. They're still, you know, victims of bullying, you know, or they still bully people, or they still, you know, discriminate against age, disability, ethnicity, sexuality, or age. So, you know, there is the issue of, you know, prejudice is often based on ignorance, and some people still do it, you know, even though they know it's wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen that in lots of situations where people have carried on doing it, even though they know it's wrong. But the other person who they do it to doesn't know what the manager or anyone is doing is wrong. And it's quite sad that we live in a society like that. Because it does exist. There are many theories of prejudice so that have been proposed through the years: social identity theory, scapegoat theory, the authoritarian personality theory, and the cultural theory. And we went through each of these theories. The social identity theory was created by Henry Tajfel, establishes that a person's sense of self comes from their overarching group background. People are put into groups for everything. A family is a group, the socio-economic class is a group, and the social school class is a group. Tajfel believed that these groups that people are assigned to shape who people are and who they become. Because of this belief that groups naturally stereotyping is part of a normal brain functioning, they have an in-group and they have an out-group. Then we've got the scapegoat theory, and in this was based on the idea of a scapegoat. So it's defined by an idea of placing the blame on someone else. In terms of sociology, it's placing the blame on an entire people group. So a scapegoat is used to take the blame for problems that may have nothing to do with the scapegoat is never perceived as powerful. And this causes the person using the scapegoat to have a higher position. So typically the use of a scapegoat makes people prejudiced against the scapegoat. Then we've got the authoritarian personality theory. And this personality theory is built on the idea of specific people having an authoritarian personality that makes them rigid in their ideas, aggressive to things that are different, and willing to comply. They often think linearly, obey authority, and firm belief in structure. In this theory, prejudice is created because the individual despises anything different from what they are used to. Cultural theory, also known as cultural transmission theory, states that prejudice is inherent in cultures through undue influences, and that children can be taught to be prejudiced through cultural norms. Individuals are flooded with information that symbolize bias. For example, the idea of an angry Black woman is portrayed throughout the media. And why do you think cultural theory is where kids can be taught what to be prejudiced? What do you think? What kind of things?
Because that's what they've seen happening. Like that's what, so they end up accepting it just without even them knowing that they are accepting it.
Yeah, it's what the parents put into the children's minds because of cultural transmission. And, you know, they put into children's mind that this is not right. Or sometimes, you know, it's not things like, you know, it's not good to have a friend from this cultural background, or try to stick to your own. You know, these kind of prejudice does not help a child. And if you infill it into a child for history, for years and years, that child's going to have that misconception and that prejudice. So, you know, to say to children, you know, inherit and be, you know, open-minded to all sorts of cultures is a good thing to have. Because I know people culturally tend to say to their children that, or stay away from this person, or, you know, they're prejudiced against cultural norms, and, you know, they infill it into their child's head. Prejudiced examples. So having a negative view of people that are different from my majority group is an example of prejudice. So that's having, why would you have a different view of someone? Why would you think about someone from a different perspective?
And sometimes the way the person behaves would let you
Yes.
think positive or negative for the person.
Why is that so important? Should you have these views about people anyway? Should you be prejudiced?
No, it's not good to do that.
Yes, it gave you, it gave you that example that thinking that a young black man in a hoodie is probably gonna engage in illegal activity is prejudice. Observing a Muslim man facing east and praying at noon and being angry is prejudiced, because you would have this perception, wouldn't you? You would say, you know, that this person is angry because of this. So in summary, prejudice is a negative attitude towards people based on their background, and discrimination is a negative action taken against a group of people based on their background. There are many different theories of where prejudice comes from. They've got social identity theory, which we looked at in group and out group, scapegoat theory, and we looked at the cultural theory as well. Stereotype definition, which is sociology, which is based on a cognitive bias, based on an assumption about all people who identify with a specific social group. And stereotypes often form a societal, develops conclusions about social rules. For example, you know, women are stereotyped as caregivers who work in the household, and this stereotype formed the fact that women have traditionally been underrepresented in the workforce. Do people still have that perception?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, please.
Yeah, do men have that perception? I'm going to ask some men in the group now. Do you still have that perception? Maybe you say no to me, but maybe you'll still have that perception.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, yes, it's good to be honest, you know, because people do have this, you know, perception that women should be homemakers. They shouldn't be going out there to work. And men still have this perception, and that women should be given less pay for the same job. So, you know, it's unfair to, you know, say that, you know, that women, you know, should be at home. They should have, you know, they should have the job and go out for equal pay. But people still have it, you know, people still have that perception.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, it gives people, it gives women negative thoughts, doesn't it, that they can't do things. But we, you know, we should all have be treated equally, and we shouldn't have this stereotypical negative stereotyping. Positive stereotypes are also problematic, and they give, for example, the model minority stereotype is applied to Asian Americans since they have achieved success in the US per the mainstream idea of what success looks like. Asian Americans also experience negative stereotypes. So, you know, there are different stereotypes there as well. Why is intersectionality important? Intersectionality holds immense importance when it comes to categorizing individuals. That is, so to say, a black male who identifies as a transgender will certainly have different life experience than a black male who identifies as a cisgender. So these are the different views that people have in society, and it identifies individuals' experiences and their own distinct causes of oppression and discrimination. Defining discrimination, we looked at a little bit earlier as well, is a behavioural bias that occurs when individuals or in groups take actions based on negative prejudice. Origins of stereotyping, it goes back to 1850, where there was a noun meant to be perpetuated without change. However, until 1922, that stereotype was used in the modern psychological sense by American journalist Walter Lippmann in his work Public Opinion, and looked at his theory in regards to prejudice and stereotyping. Early theories. So we looked at some early theories, as Katz and Braley argued in 1932 in their study that ethnic stereotypes were uniformly negative. We then identified the model, how it explains and how it's disliked and liked, and how it's used by others as well. Origins of oppression, we looked a little bit on what oppression was, and looked at the Latin phrase of oppressis, which is to pressure, to press against, or to squeeze or suffocate. So we're oppressing someone. And then this was learning outcome 2. I'm just quickly going through that because I just want to get onto the assignment bit as well. So the final one, which we did yesterday, which I'll go through quite quick, is learning outcome 2. Can you see this? Learning outcome 3? Let me just, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. So it says understand issues relevant to equal opportunity and diversity. And this was the final one we looked at yesterday in regards to identifying key terminology. What is equality in the health and social care? So we took into factors that we must include, irrespective of anything, people's age, gender, ethnicity, background or social class, sexual orientation, lifestyle, the type of illness or care they need. So we need to identify the right care plan. We watched that video on what health and social equality and diversity and inclusion means within the health and social care profession. Why, when we're working in the health and care social care profession, why is religion so important? Why do you think religion is so important? Religious beliefs and religion is so important?
So that people will be treated according to their religion, according to their beliefs.
Okay, so give me an example.
It's just like a Muslim praying
Yes.
at noon, so they should be respected. You should know, okay,
Yes.
this, should not be discriminated. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even a Christian that wants to sit there and, read the Bible, you
Yes.
should, be equal to everyone's, religions and cultures. We also looked at the origins and principles of equal opportunity, what equal opportunity is called, the idea that people ought to be able to compete on equal terms or on a level playing field, equal opportunities in health and social care. We then looked at what is equality, why is equality important in health and social care, and we looked at good equality and diversity practices, make sure that health and social care services are fair and accessible to all, and that everyone is treated the same way regardless of who they are and what their lifestyle should be. We should not bring equality and diversity into treating someone. Everyone should be treating fairly anyway. A patient comes in, we should be treating them with with respect and not be caring about their culture or what kind of person they are, what they look like. Equality in the provision of health and social care services enshrined in the equality legislation, which there's so much legislation that you need the Equality Act, the Human Rights Act as well we need to go through. How to promote health equality in health and social care. The promotion of equality in health and social care operates on 2 distinct levels. First, it must be inherent in the structure and policies of the care provider. It is a tangible ethos which can be demonstrated in up-to-date policies and procedures. Secondly, equality operates on an individual level every day, affecting how each patient is treated by their care worker and healthcare professionals. Inequality is the result of discrimination, and discrimination can be active. We also looked at every health and social care setting should have a written equality and diversity policy. Why is it important to have these policies and procedures and practices in place? Why do you think it's so important?
To stop bullying, for people not to be
Yeah.
discriminated, and to respect people's dignity.
Yeah, to stop bullying and respect people's dignity. But does bullying stop?
No.
At times it doesn't.
No.
If we look at bullying, does it ever stop?
No, it never
Not at
stops.
all.
I mean, you probably more than me have experienced that, but it doesn't always stop. You know, the fact that, you know, it's always there, you know, and sometimes people don't think it's a problem, you know, and that's sometimes that triggers the fact that there's not enough diversity or culture within, you know, the staff members, that there's still bullying going on. You know, bullying and harassment and victimization shouldn't be happening within the workplace. But does it happen? Quite a lot.
That happened.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it happens.
Yeah. If you're strong as an individual, you won't take that. You know, you'll retaliate and you'll answer back, or you'll say, no, you are bullying me for. But if you're soft and you take everything, then it's a struggle. It will be a struggle because you're not being treated equally. They're not following the equality legislation. You are being bullied and victimized. You know, so it needs to be followed rigorously. You know, the laws, that's why laws come into place. You know, the fact that we've got laws, why do we have these laws? Why do you think we have laws? To protect who?
One.
Is it there to protect the individuals, or is it there to protect the ones that are being, you know, treated unequal, you know, not equally?
It's there to protect those that are
not. It's quite scary to think that these things still happen, but they do happen, and it's not just in healthcare profession, it's in every profession. There is a form of discrimination, there is a form of, like you said, bullying, there's a form of victimization. But, you know, we have laws in place that protect individuals, and individuals can challenge all this. That's what the laws are there for. I've known people that have been discriminated against because of their disability. You know, a lot of people discriminated because they can't do something, you know, but then that would fall in disability discrimination, you know, and they could take the institution or the organization to a tribunal for things like that. Define the concept of diversity. So diversity in society means to embrace and celebrate the things that make people different from one another. Things like people's, you know, religion, you know, to celebrate cultural festivals, you know, Diwali, Christmas, you know, Eid. So, you know, you're living and working in the UK, you need to be able to accept diversity, because you work in a diverse cultural society, so you should be accepting any sort of diversity. You shouldn't be discriminating against anyone's beliefs or anyone's disability or sexual orientation. So we can further explore the characteristics that make diverse by considering the information. So interests, we looked at individuals with different interests can make a society diverse by bringing together groups or communities. Beliefs, physical signs of diversity can be evidenced by different places of worship, such as mosques, Quakers, chapels. The age, so you may see physical signs of age diversity in your community. Also lifestyle as well, you know, lifestyles in community can be determined by the work that people do, you know, how much disposable income they have, personal characteristics. You may be able to see a wide range of characteristics that, for example, physical characteristics, how they dress, the language, the dialect, cultural identities. You may also see a range of cultural identities. So people are from different cultural identities. And we should be acceptance of all this. Provide and analyze examples of positive and negative practice and the role of legislation. So the impact legislation has on businesses and in regards to protecting individuals, and laws are there to protect individuals and try to lower the complaints. Legislative framework, we have the Human Rights Act 1998, which is a charter of rights that protects individuals' dignity and right to life, right to education, right to discrimination. So we've got all these articles within the Human Rights Act. Civil Partnership Act gave same-sex partners the right to get married in 2004. Gender Recognition Act again dealt with the issue of gender recognition certificates. And then the Equality Act was to do with discrimination, and the Equality Act 2010 was to do with the protected characteristics, and also looked at anti-discrimination laws. So we looked at all this in regards to the learning outcomes. We looked at 3 learning outcomes, but also we identified the issue around, you know, the fact that these learning outcomes need to be addressed when it comes to doing your assignment. So now we're going to just go on to the other bits. So let me just find the other parts of it. So has anyone got any questions on the 3 learning outcomes? They have all been recorded. I've mentioned them again, so you've got a better idea of it. And this is just the subject content about the equality and opportunity and diversity module. So the learning outcomes, you've got 3 learning outcomes, which is they should be able to understand the different types of prejudice, stereotyping and oppression. Number 2, which we've looked at, know explanations of the origins of prejudice, stereotyping and oppression. And number 3, understand issues relevant to equal opportunity and diversity. The student can define and analyze examples of prejudice, evaluate explanations of the origins. 2.1, 3.1, explore the origins of equal opportunity, define the concept of diversity, and provide and analyze positive and negative practice of the legislation. So this looks at the grading part of it and the indicative content. So this was just, I'll go on to the next part of it now, which is the main bit. Okay, so let me share this with you. How can I share that? Yeah. Right. So can you all see this? This is the assignment brief, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So you need to complete all this. When you are handing in the assignment, you need to complete all this, okay? So the top bits is the center, your name, tutor's name. My name's Shazia Khan. And the center, which is UK Varsity, the module, to the unit, and the word count 2,000 words. And then the date set and the date due and the date submitted. So you need to put all that. You need to sign this student declaration to say that the work that I understand copying and taking work from other sources, reference books, journals, and handouts without acknowledging them is plagiarism. So you need to be using the Harvard system of referencing all the time. You need to identify when you sign this that the work you're doing is your own work. All contributions taken from reading and research have been referenced accurately. So you're using the Harvard system of referencing. Any direct quotations taken from other reading and research have been acknowledged and attributed, and you've attached a bibliography listing all sources in producing this assignment, and you've added the word count, and you've read and understand all the policies and procedures, and then you will sign this here, okay, to confirm you've understood everything, okay? And then we go into the assignment brief, okay? So 1.1 and 2.1. you are to write an essay, okay? So that's an essay, yes, titled Prejudice, Stereotyping and Oppression, okay? Your essay should be based on one of the following contemporary issues, okay? So only one, okay? Not all of them, yes? Do you all understand that?
Yeah.
So it's either you choose the
Yeah, you'd have to choose it
NHS
yourself.
or
Sorry?
the it's either you choose the NHS one, Black Lives Matters, or approve.
It
Is
says
it that
any of
one?
them issues. Can you see any of them issues? So the first one
Yeah.
is the oppression of a minority group. The
Yeah.
second one is the law, race, and the development of Black Lives Matter, BLM movement. The third one is the gender pay gap. The fourth one is masculine spaces within education or the National Health Service. Or the second one, an idea of your own to be approved by your subject tutor. Okay, so you don't have to use them for, you could get your own idea, but it needs to be approved.
You have to choose one.
Sorry, you have to choose one. It says your
Okay.
essay should be based on one of the following contemporary issues. Okay, only one, not all of them.
Okay.
Okay, within your essay, you must ensure you include a definition of prejudice, stereotyping, and oppression. You must include examples of prejudice, stereotyping, and oppression in relation to your chosen contemporary issue. So link it back to what you've chosen, okay, at the top. And then evaluation of origins of prejudice, stereotyping, and oppression in relation to your contemporary issue. And this should be an essay of 1,000 words, and it will be learning outcome 1.1 and 2.1. Okay, it will all be in learning outcome 1 and 2. Because we've looked at prejudice, stereotyping, oppression. We've looked at the history around it. We've also looked at examples of it as well. So you could use everything from your notes as well with extra stuff. And it needs to be 1,000 words. Okay? Is everyone okay with that and clear with that bit?
Yeah.
So you could choose any of the top 4 or choose your own. You know, you could choose anything. You could choose, there's not enough services for people from the minority group, or whether the NHS needs to provide more, training on cultural issues, anything that you feel like you want to do something on. Or you could just stick to them 4 and pick one of them out. And there are some interesting ones there. You know, the Black Lives Matter one, it's really interesting. The gender pay gap, they're all quite interesting. So whichever one you choose, you must write the following about the essay, okay? And that's 1,000 words. Has anyone got any questions on that part? Also,
No.
when you're doing it, please make sure that you put it as a heading. So you put your assignment brief at top and you put 1.1 and 2.1 and you put the essay title. So we know that this is the essay and when it ends. Okay?
Okay.
Is everyone okay with that? Any questions?
Hi, teacher. Are you going to submit for us this form? How we?
No, you do that. I don't do that. You do that.
No. How can I get this form?
This
These
form is on
questions.
Moodle. This essay, this assignment brief is on Moodle for you to get.
My Moodle shows nothing.
Your Moodle shows nothing.
No.
I don't have.
You need to ring on Monday UK Varsity, or contact them on Learner Works and tell them that your Moodle shows nothing.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
What I might do is I'll see if I can put this in the chat. If I can't, then you'd have to ring them. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the last time you couldn't do it, so I called the office and they put it on for me. So that's the reason my
Yeah.
other assignments I've not done it, because they put it.
So
the
has anyone got access to this assignment?
No.
No.
But has anyone been on to Moodle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
when I've logged into
I have
Moodle,
access
our
to
password,
Moodle.
nothing shows.
You've got access to Moodle, but you've not got access to the assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have access. We have access to Moodle.
Can you put it in the WhatsApp group? Who am I speaking? Is it Bonnie or is it
No.
You
Claude?
call the office, they'll put it on for you.
If you call the
That's
office,
what I
they'll
did.
put the assignment on for you. But if someone can put it in the chat as well, then that'll help, but I'll see if I can link it onto my chat. But I remember last time I did have some problems with it.
Yeah, so what
Yes.
happened was I rang the office, and after speaking to them, they just put it there for the
That's okay.
first assignment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
So
you
you could
ring
do
the
that.
office, you just let them know that they've not put the assignment, then they'll put it
What
there
I'll
for
do
you.
is I'll also email them as well. So you'll probably have it on for tomorrow.
Right.
I'll send them an email too. So this is the first part of the assignment. So you'll have a title page, prejudice, stereotyping and oppression, and that's 1.1 and 2.1. So you could choose any of the areas and then work around that, and it should be 1,000 words. Okay.
Okay.
The next one.
Okay.
The next one is 3.1. Okay. Make sure that when you're doing each part of it, you put a heading and underline it so that the person who's marking it understands that you've done everything. Okay. So 3.1. So you would put that as a heading. 3.1. Explain the philosophies considered to be the origin of equality and equal opportunities. So you look at the philosophies that we've looked at. And that would be 3.1 in learning outcome 3.1. And that's 300 words. Okay.
Mm.
3.2, you define diversity. And that would be the next title that you would do, define diversity. And that's 100 words to define what diversity is. Okay. In that, you could give a little bit of example, maybe 1 or 2 examples, but define what it is and how it's used within the health and social, but define what diversity is. And you need to stick to your word limits as well, okay? That's 100 words. Then 3.3, another title that you would head separately is analyze the role of legislation in regards to equal opportunities and diversity, and provide examples of positive and negative practice within a setting of your choice. So 600 words. So you'd look at the law relating to equal opportunities, okay, and diversity. So we looked at the Human Rights Act, we looked at Gender Recognition Act, we looked at the Civil Partnership Act, we also looked at the Equality Act 2006 and the Equality Act 2010, and provide examples of positive and negative practices within a setting of your choice. Okay, so you need to do that in 600 words. Okay, do you all understand that?
Yeah.
Excuse
very
me, please.
Yeah.
This 3.3 is analyze the role of legislation in regards to equal opportunities and diversity, and provide examples of positive and negative practice. Or when you say within a certain
It could
setting
be
of
within
your
your own choice, within a setting of your own choice. So it could be the NHS, it could be within, your workplace.
Okay.
Within the NHS, it should, just look at it from that, positive practices with examples. So, but remember, you've only got 600 words for that, okay? So bear in mind, you stick to the word limit. So here, you've got this as the first task with the heading. And oh God, what have I done? So this one here, okay, is your first task, yes? All that. Yes?
Okay.
Does everyone understand?
Yeah.
So that's your first bit, yes?
Okay.
So that's your first bit with that title. This is your second bit. I'm just highlighting it so you kind of understand it's not all the same. Oops. I'm not good at highlighting, so then this is your second bit, which identifies, explain the philosophy, and it's 600 words, okay? So that's your second bit. Okay, so that would be your second heading. This would be your third heading. Oh God, not good at this. This would be your third heading, which would be green. And this would be your fourth. So how many Literally, how many tasks do you think you've got here?
You got 4 tasks.
4 tasks. Excellent. So
Yeah.
you would put a heading for each task and you would do it as the recommended word count. Okay? And that is how you would do that. Do you all understand when I say heading? The title
Yes.
at the top.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And that's clear for the person marking it. So if I have to mark it, at least it's clear for me that to identify that you've done all the 4 bits of the assignment. Any question on the assignment brief?
When do we have to submit it?
It's normally submission is 2 weeks after the module has been completed. And this gives you a grading of the assignment, how it's been graded, and your knowledge, your distinction. So have a read of all this. Okay, it's not a huge amount, but this is just the criteria you must follow. Okay, but it must be submitted is normally 2 weeks after the module has ended. So the module is ending today, so you have 2 weeks to do it. I think personally, I think you should start doing it because it's fresh in your head. You could do 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 today. I'm not telling you to do it now, sorry, but you could, if it's fresh in your head, get it done, okay? And then you could leave your essay to the end, put it at the top, but also leave it to the end. You know, because some of that will be fresh in your head already. Even your essay bit, you know, you're defining prejudice, stereotyping, and oppression. We've done that already. So, you know, you need to look at what you want to do, and it's 2,000 words. So it quite clearly tells you how many words is needed for each part as well. Has anyone got any questions around the assignment discussion?
No.
Any questions, anyone?
No.
No. If you refer back to your, you know, use your slides, that will help you identify each part of it, because all the slides have something inside it. Okay, they're all the reason they're 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, it identifies in each learning outcome what it's got and what you need to be looking at. And when it tells you to give an example and it's only 1,000 words, don't give a lot of examples, because you need to bear in mind that your word count as well. But one of the points is examples of prejudice, stereotyping, and oppression. So, you know, identify, you know, what they are, but make sure you stick to your word count. Any questions, anyone? Boniface, Claude, anyone?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. You okay with it, yeah?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm all right. That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
But
So if you
can you include me to the WhatsApp group, please?
what, sorry?
I think I'm not in WhatsApp group. So can you help me?
I think what they do is, I think they would add you on. You need to contact Learner Works, and they would add you on the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
But also, please, the other thing is, please make sure you follow the instructions that I've given to you, but also go through the assignment brief, and also look at you know, your instructions in regard to Harvard referencing. You know, the fact that you need to use Harvard referencing to reference all your work. And I'm sure this is the same group that I went through that Neil's toolbox with you. So make sure you have a look at that. When you do some work, you need to make sure it's referenced, because you are signing that you are not copying any work. So you are referencing your work properly, okay? Because that's so important, because you could get done for plagiarism if you just copy and paste your work. Make sure you reference it. So if you are taking a quote out of a book or a quote from somewhere, make sure you're referencing where you're getting that quote from. Okay, because you are at the top, you are declaring that this is your own work. Okay, so make sure you reference things, make sure you do it in the right structure, as in the headings, so that people are able to identify what they are reading. Make sure you put your details on, your name, your college number, and make sure you are referring to you know, sources and references, but make sure you have a bibliography at the end as well to identify where you've got your work from. Has anyone got any questions before we finish off today's session? And this is the last session, so there's no more session. This module has now finished and you can start getting on with your assignment.
Teacher, did you say we have to ring office to ask
Yeah,
to ask?
you'd have to, I'm gonna just see if I can put that in the chat, but I do know last time
Just call
I
the
remember,
office on Monday. They will just put it there. It will make it simple for you. They will just
yeah,
send it to your email.
yeah. I can email the
I
office.
said email. They will put it in model for you. So when you, like mine, when I just rang, after I just put the phone, I went back and it was there.
Yeah.
It didn't even
Oh, so they
take
put
a
it on
day.
straight away for you, didn't they?
Yeah, and the model, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember last time though I struggled to put something in this chat. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's the I was the one that asked for it. So in the
Yeah,
Monday,
yeah.
I just rang the office. I
But
spoke
what
to the
I'll
lady.
do, it's,
Excuse me, please. What I'm
yeah,
suspecting, when you go to Moodle, you open the nursing and midwife, open it. When you open it, you see everything they are there. You just
yeah,
have to open it, the nursing and midwifery. Just open that link. Once
Yeah,
you
yeah,
open it, you see
with
everything.
mine, they only put my two other course. It was the English and Maths, but by then they've not added the nursing and midwifery to it. So when I
Oh,
rang, the lady
No.
said, "Oh,
No,
sorry for
the
not putting
English.
it." So when they put it there, now I can access everything now.
See, let me
oh,
tell you, the English and maths part is different from
No,
the
that's what I'm
notes.
explaining. You know, people are
yeah,
joining the class. So me, when they didn't add to it, so after speaking to the lady, she said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know I've not put it
yeah,
on." So I went back to Moodle and they've now added the nursing and midwifery because people are new adding to the class and I didn't start. Yeah. So you just call the office and they will check the Moodle. If they've not put it there, they will put
yeah. I
it
think
there for
people
you.
that can't get onto Moodle need to contact UK Varsity tomorrow
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
contact Moodle, you know, because I think they will help them out then. Okay. Has anyone got any questions? Thank you for your patience, everyone. And thank you for attending today's session and good luck with your assignment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Look after yourself, everyone. Thank you. Good luck. Bye. I will also email UK Varsity now as well. Okay. Okay. Thank you.